Hi, hello everyone. How you guys doing? Hey Isaac, hey Shay, how you doing? Hey, glad both of y'all made it in. Glad to see you. Hope you guys had a great week so far. So for today, I decided to do something a little bit different. Recently I kind of went on this special thing called this drawing prompt generator. So I went on this one called yourartpath.com. And so one of the prompts that I had found was a, pro- a prompt on gnome team with clockwork gadgets because came through when I was kind of selecting on different prompts that came up. I figured since that's something I hadn't really done before, I figured I'll go ahead and try that. So let's go and get started then. So I figured maybe I could have him sitting down right here. And maybe I have him sitting down. Now, I've been meaning to experiment, kind of like drawing art, with drawing art prompt generators for a while now. Because I've been hearing they're really good as far as actually kind of like really kind of like getting people to have like an art block where you're trying to figure out what to draw. This can actually provide with an option of what you can do. Because you might end up drawing something you probably wouldn't have thought about doing. I think maybe he's sitting down somewhere. Just so you know, my friend, look what you got me working today. That's okay. I understand. I understand. We all gotta work, so I totally understand that. It's okay. So I think maybe I'll have this guy sitting down. Maybe he's kind of working with some new sort of invention. And these are all parts that he's found. Give me just one moment. So he's probably got two parts in his hand. He'll give his little hat. Yeah, I'm just kind of lightly kind of sketching out the scene like on the fly, just based on this prompt. So I think maybe he's sitting down. Maybe he's in a hole, just somewhere exclusive, so he can actually kind of focus on on putting together all the parts he's found, these different clock parts. And that's something I was thinking about doing for my future streams. Like maybe what I'll probably do is actually kind of like think of like different have a poll where I have like different prompts, different ideas on what to draw, and you can all vote on which ones you like the most. Maybe it's a rotating chair. Maybe it's made with clock parts. Maybe he's got like a little rope. Maybe he's got like a little curved table. Maybe I was probably made out of shingles or something. Let me just give him a little mustache while I'm at it. Yeah, I hope you guys had a great week so far. Yeah, today it's been a pretty good week for me. It hadn't been too busy, but also, I've had a chance to really sketch a lot more and do a lot more stuff than I normally would, this week. Part of it's at my own job. I was off for Juneteenth, so I had some chance to kind of really kind of sketch like some new stuff. A lot of it I haven't really shared just yet. Yeah, but that is what I've been working on. I'm trying to decide, maybe he has on maybe a little like some eye goggles here. He's probably got maybe bushy eyebrows. Let me see how certain eye goggles look. Let me check on that. Trying to see how something look like before I commit to it just yet. I correct my character designs on the weekends sometimes, but not often. Yeah, I totally understand that, because sometimes you may come across a design where you really do like. I think I probably won't give him an eyeglass here. Yeah, I totally understand. Like sometimes you want to correct them because you may like them initially, but you may find like other things that you feel like could be improved. So you try to do like other stuff, to see how you can make them better. Especially with my more original character designs, because they're always finding something that kind of suits how they look, how it looks good visually. You always find stuff that looks good, like as far as the character's personality. Because part of having a good character design is not only making sure they look good to your like, but also decide like, are their proportions nice? Are they have good color scheme? But also, does their appearance actually match like their personality? Are they an outdoorsy person? Or are they a woodsy person? Do I want to give him goggles or do I want to give him glasses? Maybe I will give him glasses. Now that I think about it. I'll give him maybe large ears. Yeah, because I think the last time I think I did something like that for one of my OC characters. I think it was for it's what character I hadn't drawn in a while, Tango. And he's kind of like this teen character. And initially I was kind of drew with kind of like a tie-dye shirt. But later on I kind of like experiment and try with different outfits just to see how he look in different outfits, see the ones that fit his personality. Because he's supposed to be kind of like this laid-back kid, but a kid who's also adventurous as well. I don't know if I've ever posted them. I think I might post one of them, but I don't think I posted any of the newer ones. And also, Shay, I've been checking your new work on Instagram as of lately. It's been looking really good. So I'd happy to see my doing by corrected them because like sometimes it's definitely worth it when especially when you think it's necessary. Let me see if I can get his little hands. It's gonna like kind of put a spot where his hands are supposed to be, since I don't know what type of party he's gonna have just yet. Since it's a gnome, he's got very short, stubby arms, so of course that's what we're gonna do here with this character. And maybe it's like kind of like a gnome who's got a little hobby. So, at the day he's probably just a regular gardener, but right at night, or maybe when people are not around, he's actually a tinkerer. And also with this prompt that I'm working on, this isn't something I had planned the night before. This is something I thought of just now, because I figured it would be more funny if I didn't fun if I did one of the very first ones I saw, rather than kind of spending all night kind of worrying about what type of prompt I want to do. Because and also I feel it would kind of go against like the idea of kind of keep that I want to kind of do something kind of fresh, like an on the fly. Since that's what I was kind of intending on doing for today. If that makes sense. Maybe he's probably making his own like little clock or something on here. Maybe it's got a little door. Maybe it's got a little. I figure maybe it's got a little door for that he hasn't attached just yet. So he's probably putting in his own like little grandfather clock or gnome clock, and he's kind of putting it all together. I won't give it a top. And also speaking of Instagram and social media, one of the things I'm thinking about doing, I think I might have briefly mentioned it before on one of my other streams, but I am thinking about branching out to a different like social media stream to post my art. I'm kind of divided if I want to do Kara or if I want to do Blue Sky. I've been hearing pretty good things about Blue Sky. I've been hearing good things about Kara. Part of the reason I'm doing it because I wouldn't mind like branching out to a different like venue to kind of share more my art, but also right now I'm also in the process of kind of reevaluating like what sites do I want to share my artwork on because right now my top priority sites DeviantArt's the one, even though people have issues with it, it's the one where I have my largest following there. I have that. Then there's Instagram. I have more issues with that. I still have a good pre-following there too. But then I have the smaller ones. Then I have Tumblr, which I chime into every now and then, but sometimes I post, but I still occasionally get some good followers there. Then something with Twitter, like a lot of times for me it's a crapshoot, because I'll have some that'll do okay, and then I have others that barely get any attention at all. It's hard to gauge. And then there's another one I use, like a new one called Artful, which I do like. Only issue of Artful one right now, there's this weird bug where it's really hard to post any artwork, and I have no idea what's going. what's going on, because apparently like other people who use Artful have that same issue as well, where it's really where like for some reason it just won't have upload your artwork for some reason. And I found ways kind of getting around it where sometimes I'll just upload it without really like adding it on the title or description, and then once I posted it, then I'll actually go ahead and actually add the description to it. So yeah, that's come along pretty good. Maybe he's got like a bag full of like unused clockwork stuff he hasn't really used just yet. Let me bring this. Yeah, I'll bring this down just a bit more. Maybe that's probably a little hole leading out to the outside right here. Yeah, see, now that I got a whole scene going here, now I'm kind of now it's a little easier to kind of map out everything I want here now. Yeah, let me look at some different clockwork gadgets that I think would be nice. I figured maybe he's got a little turning dial here. Probably a little gear. And let me see what kind of gear. Maybe I was giving one little cog right here that he's probably working with. And he's probably in the middle of deciding which part needs to go where. Or deciding what part will goes well with the clock he's trying to make. I'm always in that Artful. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of times with Artful, if I do go in there, I'll go in there to kind of chat with some of the folks that are there, kind of give little updates, let them know what's going on. So I think when it comes to that side, like I tend to do be a little bit more chatty there. I put an update, like since I can't really post any artwork there. But I hope they get that bug fixed of Artful because like when it is working well, like it is kind of a nice. It's definitely a lot quieter than say some of the other sites since it's still a pretty new site. So hopefully they do get that fixed pretty soon. I'll give him suspenders, so he's probably wearing overalls. So that's what I'm kind of looking to see, how what Kara or Blue Sky look. I've heard good things about Blue Sky, heard some good things about Kara. And I'm not really planning on deleting some of my older ones just yet. The only one I'm considering I'm probably maybe deleting is probably maybe just ArtStation. One aside from the whole because I saw AI invasion that's taken over there, but also it's a site I never really used all that often. Because even before like it really got into that, I just found it kind of intimidating site to use because like I know it's a site that's definitely supposed to be geared more towards like professional artists to use, but for some reason it was really hard for me to kind of make a splash over there. so I never really used all that much to begin with. So that's why the only one I definitely might consider just deleting altogether. And so maybe he's got different. So maybe he's got different like parts kind of strewn on the floor. Let's see what other parts could I use here. Yeah, I was thinking like different cogs that can kind of go in here. And I'm not being, and obviously I'll be honest, I'm not being completely accurate how some cog parts kind of go together. Here's a section where the main clock is here in the middle. Maybe it's probably one spare part. Maybe the ones on the bottom are probably like broken ones, like ones that either he broke by accident or just ones that he just really couldn't use. Yeah, I think I have all the sites I think I've used. I think DeviantArt, despite some of the issues I might have with it, it's the one I've used the longest. The only one I have like 100,000 followers on it, but it's the very first one I ever used when I first got into like posting my art online. I remember starting an old one like years and years ago, just kind of see how it felt. And the work I post on there, like it was okay. It was stuff that was kind of cringy looking back on it. But it really got me in the feel of actually like knowing how to kind of post stuff online and getting used to actually being an interactive community on there too. I did that. Then later on, like after I deleted that one, I went and formed like a brand new one under the name I go now over there, Ready J Workshop, and I've pretty much been there almost ever since. And weirdly enough, I think with the site now, I think they're slowly starting to do a better job as far as actually trying to like cater towards like new artists rather than more later ones. Because one thing I found out, at least I've noticed, and a few times I've been on there where I've been really active, is that there'll be instances where if I've been pretty active on the site where I'm constantly posting a lot more new stuff, where I'm interacting with a lot of different artists on there, where I'm commenting on their work, favoriting their work, leaving a like. One thing it'll do, like in your notifications, it'll give you a message that said, "We've noticed you've been more active on the site than usual. Here's like an article from this new artist that might catch your attention." And you just always like a brand new artist that probably just joined maybe like either like that day, or like just very recently, probably, or maybe like that week. And I honestly think that's a pretty cool deal as far as like for artists that are just joining the site for the very first time and hoping to get following, like. It's actually kind of pushing people out to actually see, for other people to see like what your stuff looks like. Because I've come across a number of like really like I think really fantastic like artists who surprisingly don't have a big following. trying to think, what type of light source do I want to give them? Because I know I got light source coming from a little hole in their background. I know we got that. But I know he's got some light source coming inside here, too. Hey, thanks. I'm glad you like it. And just a quick reminder, the name of the website I got this from is yourartpath.com. And so that's a site where you can type in different prompts. Let me kind of bring out his table a little bit more too. I'm trying to see I'm still deciding what type of light source do I want to have. Of course, I got some grass at the very top. I'm trying to decide what type of light source do I want. Do I want to have it come from here? And if I want to have just more than one. See, even though I'm kind of fine-tuning my sketch, I'm also kind of the brainstorm period too, because like there's still a lot. I'm still deciding there's a lot more stuff I want to add to the picture as well. So I figure here I can have a bag like full of like brand new parts that maybe he's just found. Because I figured maybe he's kind of a little scavenger who like comes across. Uh-oh. Sorry about that. It does a fly. Sorry about that. And maybe he can easily like parts that he's found like just like throughout the neighborhood, or really just probably within his lawn, because you know, since he's probably just a lawn gnome, since he's tended to be there just like for all day, he probably can't really go that far during the daytime. But at night, he can roam whenever he wants. Maybe I'll bring this over just a bit more. Trying to think. How do I want? Trying to think. Do I want to have a light bulb here? Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll have maybe like one single light bulb here. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe it's probably a really bright one. Let me see. Let me see. What can I do here for this guy? Or should I give him like a little candle? Actually, no way. I think maybe he should have a lantern rather than a light bulb. Oh, I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. If actually come to think of it, that would probably make a little more sense versus him having, say, a light bulb. Because like, where's electricity? And maybe he's got another one like right on. Maybe he's got another lantern right here, probably a larger one, on his table a little further down. Oops, sorry about that. Didn't mean to shake the camera a bit. My mistake. Okay, yeah, that's kind of everything's kind of coming together a little more now. Maybe this wall's kind of maybe quite hard, probably hollow air is kind of edge right here. Because I will start doing now is a little bit, kind of start sketching, kind of start refining the sketches with a darker pen in just a moment. And also for a long time, I've been meaning to kind of do a picture that kind of more like a fantasy, has a fantasy-like setting. Especially, so back when I used to kind of read, like books all the time, at least for my pleasure, my spare time. Back when I was doing that more than drawing, I used to always like reading like fantasy books. Like I remember really liking fantasy like action adventure. Like I used to love Rick Riordan's Percy Jackson's. I used to love reading those. DJ McHale's Pendragon series. I used to really love those. Still think it's an underrated book series. Used to really love reading that. I've read one of Brandon Sanderson books. Books I think was like not Twist in Time. I forgot the name. I can't think of the name at the moment. It'll come to me later on. But I've always really been into kind of reading like fantasy and like type stories. Now, surprisingly enough, now that when I say that, I haven't really read the more famous ones. Like I haven't really read the Harry Potter series. I haven't read those. And for Lord of the Rings, I haven't really read those either. I think I might have gleaned through the first few pages. I think the very first one, like years and years ago, when I was really little. But I lost interest. I might have better interest if I were to read it now, read again nowadays. Yeah, I think it's time we can move on to our next stage. With our black pen. Because sometimes, like there's some books where I think there's anything wrong with the series itself. It's just it just never really caught my attention. And I think what I will do here, I think I'll get started by giving this guy some really thick glasses. I'll make sure you can still see his eyes. And maybe he's probably a guy that's probably a little bit grumpy sometimes, a well-meaning but grumpy guy, but yet, whenever he's working, he does not like to be disturbed. Because once he's in his, so he's been in his clockwork shop, where he can actually create, he does not like to be disturbed because he is in his element. And that's what I figured. Maybe he's kind of a well-meaning but kind of a cantankerous type gnome. A grumpy gnome in a way, but not too grumpy. And of course, can I give him whatever they'll give him by really large ears. Of course, give us a little hat. They get a little turning gear right here, and that's probably gonna go in the back of the clock most likely. Dark. What good? Are you left-handed? Oh, yes, I am. Was Dark Schwarzenegger? Hey, nice to meet you. Glad you were able to drop in. Yes, I am indeed left-handed. And weirdly enough, I actually had no idea that was so much a rare thing until I really started talking with other artists and really started talking to other people in general. Was where I found out being left-handed, it's kind of a rare thing. But also, for the longest time, I really back in the day, even if you were left-handed, you were forced to kind of do everything your right hand. If you, it didn't matter if you could do right better if you're left hand, you had to do it with your right hand. But then you got some folks that are ambidextrous where you can write with both hands, and it's that's a win-win either way. But yes, I am indeed left-handed. Hey, glad you're here to drop in though. Nice to meet you. In case for any other new folks that are dropping in, basically this is all part of a prompt I've actually following on yourartpath.com, and the prompt I'm following is a gnome tinker with clockwork gadgets. And so that's basically what I'm working on right now. And you can see I've pretty much already done the rough sketches, so now I'm fine-tuning it by adding extra stuff. By just fine-tuning our sketch before I start adding any color. Yeah, I think I'll keep him kind of a four-finger type of gnome. He's a four-finger gnome. I have one of these cracked clock pieces down here. Could you figure he might have some parts that that he could probably got damaged, other parts where he decided it didn't work with what he was trying to do. And as a creator, that's something that will happen. It's like sometimes you're finding, something as you're experimenting with different items, deciding what works and what doesn't. You have to scrap certain items in order to so you can get the items that will work. I think I have the door right here. The door for his little grandfather gnome clock. Maybe it's got little hinges. And maybe like his tail's probably made out of little shingles or something. Stuff stuff you would find like at a house. Maybe he's got another little hole. Maybe he's got another hole or entryway to a different room. I'll come back to that effect a little bit later. Sorry, I had another brainstorming idea that came in for a moment. Okay, you probably see on Ray, like I've had different ideas that come up, like even mid-drawing. Because even once I feel like I found an idea that really works, let me come up with another one that's just as good, that's even better than what I start off with. One lantern right here, maybe kind of fine tune just a bit more. Yeah, I think it's a good idea trying to go with like a lantern instead, because since this guy's on the ground, maybe it'll make a little more sense. At least I feel it would make a little more sense for him to have like say a lantern versus having like say a light bulb. Oh, you're right, Annie. Oh, nice. Yeah, I was getting ready to ask if any of you were left-handed as well, if y'all were just kind of right-handed. It'd be really fun if I ran some folks on here that are ambidextrous that can do both. I figure y'all kind of got the best of both worlds. You don't want to write your left, you can do it with the right one. And worst case scenario, next time more, if you lose one of your other hands, you'll still be good because you can just work. Because you can actually just use the other hand. Because even if you're disabled, you can still make really great art. I think one that always comes to mind, and also one of my personal favorite arts of all time is his name was Chuck Close. So those of you who may not know who Chuck Close is, he was known for back in the day. He can make these really huge, like hyper realistic, like portraits. That was one of the things he was known for. But what had happened is that I think at the top of his career, he ended up getting in a really bad car accident, that that kind of paralyzed him for kind of from the waist down, and so he was wheelchair bound for the rest of his life. But one of the things he was able to do, because even though it kind of affected your mobility as far as pain like he used to, he ended up finding a new way to kind of do his portraits. Of course, with extra assistance, rather than doing like completely hyper realistic, where he gets really fine in detail, he did this type of grid work pattern where basically he preprepped his canvas with these really small, like tiny little square grids, and he would add like little dabs, like really small dabs of paint inside each grids. And while when we look at it up close, it just looks like just a series of kind of like blobs, like in squares. But when you pull further back, you can see it's actually a full like full portrait, of a person. And they're really stunning work. I always kind of found that just really inspiring. That even in spite of having such a tragic incident happen to him, he was still able to not let it stop him from doing what he loved to do. I'd love to kind of see. I don't know if his work is still on display up for display anymore, since he did pass away about a few years back. But I would love to see how his work is in like in a live, so like see it in person, because his works are often like really huge painting. I think they went to almost like 15, sometimes 30 feet, almost 30 feet tall to my recollection. Maybe they weren't that big, but it's been a while since I've seen some of his work. Let me get some other gears right here. Maybe he's got some other tools on his work shelf. Maybe that's the side of the wall right here that's kind of cut off. Maybe his little bag of extra gears that he's found. Maybe get these extra parts. Maybe some extra grass strands since he is underground. I'm trying to see, do I want to give him like a little ceiling to work with? I'm trying to see how it's gonna work. Bring together this little hole. let's see. Today's stream may or may not be a little longer than usual since I don't have to going for work today. It's just kind of letting y'all know. And deciding what I might do. Maybe it's probably got a little hole further in the back. Got a hole like further in the back that'll lead to a different part of his studio. We have another lantern right here. Maybe they're not all completely centered. Now that I'm thinking about it, do I want to keep this, have it like during the daytime, but I want to have it at night? But then again, I figured night probably doesn't matter, because I figured either like night or daytime, even if he's working, like if he's underground, he's still going to need some light. Let's add some of these extra cogs and gears. Maybe kind of do a little extra stuff with some of these lanterns. You know, give them a little bit more atypical shape. Maybe some extra rocks, since he is in the ground. Alright, that's looking pretty good. So, let's break out some more, just add a little color to this. What color do I want to start off with? I think I will start off with a little bit of just sand for his beard. Because one thing I have a feeling what's probably going to go on for here is I'm probably not going to have just pure... Since it's going to be slightly more of a darker piece, a piece I'm thinking it's going to have a lot of dark colors, I think I'll do what I'm going to do right now is try to get as much as I... much areas I think are going to be fairly dark. Not in color areas I think are mostly bright, just have color those in. I might have little highlights later on. Oops, sorry for hitting the camera again. Alright, that's looking good. Let's see what the color I want to use. I figure, since he's a character, since Guy's a character that's probably on a little grumpy side, maybe I'll give him a shirt that's on the red. That's not completely red, but just kind of like a vermilion, really, like a dull red. Give him very more woodsier colors. I don't want to give him too bright private colors. Alright, that looks good. So, let me see what type of colors I want to use here. We color the inside of our clock box here. Our little gnome clock. Speaking of grandpas, I remember last time I've seen one. My grandpa used to have one. Now, granted, it wasn't this big. I'd say it was about kind of like half the size. It was about this height. And I remember, even though we had it for years, it always worked. Because it would go do, 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 do. Like, that's the way it would chime anytime a new hour had passed. Maybe I'll also use that kind of color in the background too. Yeah, I think it's starting to run out of ink. It's just a little. I'm gonna run ink now. Well, project, I might switch out with different penders, kind of put it off to the side, and let more ink kind of like sink down to it. I think the right thing is I might just go ahead and color in full black now that I'm thinking about it. So let me break that out, since this is going to be a fairly dark piece. I always still make grandfather clothes nowadays, at least ones that big, but they probably go for a lot of money because just, having, the dexterity, craftsmanship to kind of make one of those things. And they keep on running like for years, because those things can run for like years and years. That's a really like unique craft in itself. Yes, I think maybe he's got another doorway leading to another part of his hideaway somewhere in the background. Yeah, okay, cool. Okay, now this kind of gave some room, a little bit more space. Let's see, what type of color do I want to use? I think I'll use burnt sienna for the bottom. I think it probably is best I try to get all the main colors out of the way. I feel, this will probably be a piece that's going to be done by a lot of earth tones. In fact, funny enough, looking at this, Worm kind of doing all this stuff, he's probably doing underneath like someone's front yard, maybe someone's backyard. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised with someone's backyard, because at least he'd be less seen that way. In fact, that reminds me, one thing I might do later on today, after, if I have time, I might start planting some flowers in my backyard. Because recently, I did get some new like flower seeds for my backyard. Because right now we don't have anything back there right now. But I just wanted to plant some new flowers out there. I also want to plant some new seeds so I can have something growing back there. So it'll be looking pretty nice. There we go. Now let me see if I got I have like a tan color or something that's a little more on the yellowish side. I thought I did. Hang on. Okay, there's two colors I'll use here. Let me see this brighter than the bottom. And I'm not, since everything in the ground is pretty much kind of made kind of like dirt, soil, and stones. I'm not about have worried about everything being here too like architecturally accurate here. I mean, aside from aside from our clock and our bench here, I'll have to fine tune that just a bit more. Just kind of cover this whole area just in brown, and really get the idea that this is like that we're all underground. And also just let me know, guys, like if this, like, if the prompt is something you'd like to see more in the future. Because one thing I thought about doing is that I thought maybe like for like future streams, what I could do maybe probably the day or two before I stream, like I'll post to be like 3 prompts that I've seen that I came across through the yourartpath.com. Maybe post like 4 prompts, and you all can actually vote like which ones you like the best. And which ones you like the best, that'll be the one I'll end up actually doing like for today. I mean, for that day. In fact, I almost considered doing like a stream on this past Juneteenth, since I was off for that day. I almost considered doing it for that day. Only thing about it is like I had no idea what I wanted to draw it in. And plus, since it was kind of a last minute deal, I figured it would be unfair to kind of spring something like that at the very last minute. Probably still may add a little bit of green for this later on, but at the very least this will kind of get some of the soil. This will get some of the soil colored in. Since I got these lanterns, what I probably will do is kind of color on the edges. This one might be a little bit dark. Oh, I can still use this. This can work. Let's go inside these lanterns. And just kind of warm up this background. I'm just gonna go over with some gold, this golden yellow. Maybe I'll give this guy maybe like a yellowish skin, since he is a mythical creature. Maybe he's probably gonna have skin that's unusual, that us humans will have. Also, I want to try to get rid of and remain like white space. Let's see. probably will do. Let me see if I have any red here. Oh, red. Okay, perfect. I do. Let me see. Now that might be a little too dark for what I'm working with. Let's see what I got. I have crimson. Let me see. That works a little better. That looks alright. Cool, cool, cool. So I'm not too chatty right now. Now I'm processing just kind of deciding what colors work, what colors to use here. Now I'm kind of deciding maybe I shouldn't have used red for that one. Well, I can make this still work. Sometimes that what will happen, like even have like sometimes I'll come up a color that I don't like that I'm not using, but sometimes you gotta just roll with it and see what you can do to kind of salvage it. Color with some extra gray. Actually, let me make that just one brick darker color. Now let's make that black. Kind of darken some of these other areas. Sorry, it was another fly that came through. Yes, I drew Penfold, Danger Mouse, Sidekick, Star Angel, I'll be a 3 on higher. Yeah, I did see that one. That drawing you did, Penfold from Danger Mouse. I saw that one. It looked really good. Yeah, really good job on him. Take a 3-day ice and debut art. And I totally understand you don't want to do that, because sometimes you do want to kind of take a break from drawing. Because you're trying to kind of de-stress, you gotta get a chance to not like wear yourself out too much. So I understand that. See something. one cool thing about with these alcohol-based markers, I forgot to check to see if I have blotchy underneath here. I don't think I did put one. Oh well, you know what? I can make this work. Try to slide a piece of paper underneath my sketch paper before I started. Usually, anytime if I'm working, with alcohol-based markers like this, I always try to have like a little blotch or sheet of paper like underneath, so that way if it does bleed onto the paper, it'll bleed upon this blotch I put underneath, rather than say the next page I'll use to draw on. I think I'll just put color in our bag here too. I think I'll probably give maybe the wood he's working is kind of like an orangey, like russet color to it. One thing I figured for the stool he's working on, maybe that's part of a clock in itself. Maybe his foot had like a little. Maybe he's working on is actually part of an old clock part that he never used. Maybe he had a much bigger project he wanted to work on and just never worked out. So he still wanted to use the part, even though he wasn't able to use it for the project he wanted it for. Actually, this one might probably make it just a little bit darker. In fact, let me get some black, kind of color that in. So there goes wine key in his hand. You know what's funny? I even think about giving this guy a name. Meerlin probably would be a good name for this guy. Now that I'm thinking about it. That would be a good name for this guy, Meerlin. Alright, trying to see any other colors I want to go over before I start adding colored pencils. Let me see, where's the sand color I had? Okay, here we go. Yeah, but I'm glad you guys are liking how it's turning out so far. As for the whole area, it's actually turning a lot more spacious than I intended too. I wasn't expecting to kind of have like a whole like full-on scene. I figured I would just keep, just kind of working with gears, just keep it with just this and that would be it. But I decided to be a little more adventurous and go a little further. Alright guys, so I think for right now we're done with our markers. Now, I'll go over some colored pencils, add a little more dimension by some extra shading. Just give me a few moments. I'll put everything back. Alright, so got my colored pencils right here. So what I think I will do here though, I think I do what I do with my white. I think I will add like a tiny little ray of light coming in from the top, from our top of our hole here. So he probably is getting some like natural light like shining in here. So I kind of map out what my highlights are going to be. Just kind of start shading our gnome guy here. Gotta make sure make sure his values are well defined. And also, I think I probably mentioned in other streams, a lot of times when I do shade, I tend to use a lot of really dark colors. So I use a lot of browns, a lot of purples, sometimes blues, but occasionally every now and then I do use black. And I know nowadays a lot of artists will say that you really shouldn't use black for shading, and I agree to an extent. On one, I can see why people say they don't want to use black, because black's a very, black's definitely what sort of is very dominant. So when you add it to any type of color, what will happen? It will desaturate the color you're using. So what will happen is that if you're using say a color like orange or yellow, it'll end up kind of desaturated, kind of a murky, almost greenish color, because it's been desaturated. But I think with that advice, it should be not don't ever use black. You should don't always rely on black. Because I feel like if you're using it, say, for cool colors like dark blue, like some blues, colors are already kind of dark to begin with, it's a lot more manageable. You can get away with it. And also, sometimes if I really want that contrast, I will just bite the bullet and actually just go and just use straight back. if I feel I'm not really getting the contrast that I want, with the I want for the shading. Because one trick I've always found that works, see if I've done a good job of shading, like sometimes I'll squint my eyes, and what I'll do is once I squint my eyes, I'll try to see if my shadings show up even when I squint my eyes, because if you can't, because the deal is you want to be sure your contrast for shading is still noticeable and readable. Yeah, so I can tell this jean's definitely trying to be much longer than the last one. I don't know if this may or may not have been another 3-hour one like I did with the Animaniacs one I did a while back. I probably won't do it as long since even though I'm off, there are a few things I'm doing later on today. Yeah, I'll probably just use this to kind of map out some of the other shadows I got going here. Yeah, one important thing about whenever you're adding shadows to your your artwork, especially with figure and drawing, always determine where your light source is going to be. So say if you got a light source on the left, your shadow will be facing towards the right. Now in this case, it's going to be a little more complicated because I have at least 3 light sources going here. Well, 4 really, because I have this lantern here, I have this lantern here, I have this lantern here, and I got the light coming from a hole at the top too. But right now, I'm mainly focusing on this lantern right here, so this is going to be our main light source. Because this is like I said, when it's closest to us and when it's going to be illuminating our main feature, which is this gnome guy. Shade underneath the stool here. Yeah, I'm just kind of using this dark maroon color so far. I figured maroon is kind of a nice rustic color because I want this scene to kind of have more of a very rustic scene, very rustic, like earthy scene. Just gotta have it going towards the light here. What I will do, even though this is further in the back, I will have a little like backlighting here so I can tell like so he's getting illuminated by some of the light back here from our hole. this. And sometimes, a lot of times, like whenever I'm coloring things, usually like even if I'm using a lot of colors, I'll probably maybe at least maybe like four or three like certain colors that I'll use like throughout the whole piece just to kind of give some sort of unity. But also, you know, a lot of times really using less colors sometimes is a lot easier to work with because that's less colors you gotta keep track of. Let me color in his little pupils. He'll use like a dark blue for his pants. I figure if this streams are going a little longer than I intended, what I might end up doing is like, I'll probably finish to a certain point. Maybe I'll do another stream later on where I finish it later on, or I'll just post it when it's already been finished. Because I think for the most part, I've got everything that I want to get in this picture. And see, I'm kind of lightly going over our dark shadows here, making it just a bit darker. Actually, what I'll do here, there we go. Kind of use this like this blue to kind of like add a little more subtle shadows. Since he's kind of our main point of interest, I want to make sure he's looking good. This on the bottom underneath our little table. And also sometimes when you're shading with like purples, blues, and browns, you get a lot more like natural colors, a lot more colors that work well together. Like a lot of times, if I'm shading colors that have a lot of yellows, usually I'll use purples. And well, it helps that since yellow and purple are good like complementary colors. So when you shade those, so you can get some nice like good like brownish colors that seem a lot more natural and a lot warmer too. Just kind of like kind of smoothing out some of our shadows here. Maybe I can go just a little bit darker. There we go, that looks much better. Here. Yeah, now once I kind of reached the fine tuning stage where now that now I've got everything where I need to be, now I'm just trying to make sure everything looks good now. Because it always happens with me, like once I find something, once I got a good picture going, once I think it looks really good, now I'm just fine tuning, like finding things, just gotta make it look better, make it look good. Let's see. Okay, now let's see. Trying to, what else can I add here? All right. little shadow in the back. Shade in our background, add a little more variety and definition. Sorry, I'm kind of half rambling at the moment. Cool thing about it is that now that I'm doing like a full background, any like the red marks that I had, pretty much a lot of those have been kind of ironed out. Now that I've got some actual add extra shadows here now. Bring this shadow further back. Let me bring this further back here. I think I'll add a little bit of the shadow on his little bag, his little grab bag. Depending on how this thing's going, I may end up deciding to cut it off at the 2-hour mark, but we'll see. Just kind of shading the bottom a little more here. Uh-oh, hang on. Some extra highlights on his beard. We got darken around here. Just gonna make this guy pop out. bit more. Alright, see. Getting close to the 4-minute mark. What I probably might do later on is that or maybe probably I might do at the end of this stream here. Might start going over everything with another set of like ink pen, just to kind of like bring back some of our line work. Cause I see a lot of it's kind of blended in with our pencil marks here. I'll make it darker towards the bottom here, and I'll get light as I go further towards the top. Darken this little wooden leg here. And maybe he has a little. I just realized I hadn't put a little design on this door. I think I will do this just that. I figure if it's gonna be a grandfather, it's gonna have a little bit of decoration. kind of shade to get the bottom, the floor here, kind of brighten it up. Maybe a little bit of backlighting here. Okay, so we reached the 2 hour mark. I think what I will go ahead and do now. Thank you. I'm glad you like it, Shay. I'm glad you like it. What we'll do now is use some of my other like ink pens I have on hand. Try to bring back some of our line work here. So I will do. Oh, that one's too small. Don't want to use that one. Okay, here we go. This is perfect. Alright, perfect. So, I'm just going to lightly kind of go over some of my line work here. Because that's the one thing about like you working with ballpoint pen is that once you get alcohol markers mix and mix, the cool thing about it is it can blend in with the markers. But at the same time, is if I'm looking for crisp, like really clean line work, it can be a bit of a problem, but it's no problem for me. Okay, let me change things up for a moment. Alright, so actually, you know what? Let me do what I normally do. I'll start off with our thicker outlines. Yeah, just to really want to kind of bring some of the line where we had set back in our picture. Because there I could just left it as is, but since I like having pretty clean line work, I kind of want to bring it back. I'll bring out some of these rocks I had. Just kind of sing the air, make it a little bit more lived in. Glad I did add that. Now that really kind of brought him back. Now he's not blending too much in the background. Yeah, this thicker pen works out much better for me. Bring out his other little clock parts here. He's got another little like wind up key part here. Another winding key. Yeah, I think once I'm done with the line work here, I think that's why I decided to cut it off at this point. So let me go back to our smaller pen here, get some of our smaller details. At least I can darken it just a bit more. You know, adding these extra pencil marks, it kind of got rid of some of that streakiness I had earlier. So that's a good thing. I'll use some more brown. Even though I said I was going to cut up the line, let me see, I add a little more. A little more work with that brown pencil here before I decide to cut it off. Another thicker black pen here. Let me see if I got it. 'Cause I think I do. If not, I'll just use the black again. In fact, I think after this spoil, we'll go ahead and do. Some strands of grass. Yeah, I'll shade underneath the table a bit here. Alright guys, I think that'll be it for this today. I don't want to name it. Maybe I'll call it Meerlin Tinkering with His Gears. That's probably what I end up calling this, because I think it generally does fit, you know, with the name really kind of fits with this guy. And this has a pretty good name. Come to think, it does sound like a pretty good name for him. So guys, I hope you all enjoyed this longer stream I did today. You know, I really enjoyed doing, you know, this being a little different from what I normally would do, you know, as far as following for a prompt. But I'm glad you guys all kind of stuck around and enjoy me doing it while I was actually, you know, like working on this. Let me kind of bring this red light back in. What I may end up doing for this is that if I don't actually, I think later on I will kind of like by fine tune just a bit more, maybe add a few more like shade and kind of tighten it. I might save for another stream, but if not, I'll let you guys know what I plan for my next stream. Until then, guys, hope you all have a wonderful day, a wonderful afternoon, and a wonderful week. Thank you.